My name is Madison Collins. I'm a senior, and I am majoring in media and journalism with a minor in political science. Today, I will be talking about gender inequality in South Korea. This is a topic that interests me because I feel very strongly towards progressing women's rights, especially in countries that are a lot farther behind compared to the United States. Firstly, I wanted to give a little background on South Korea. The official name of South Korea is Mingguk, also known as the Republic of South Korea, the Republic of Korea. The head of state and government is their president, Yoon Suk-yeol, and their prime minister, Han Duck-soo. They have a unitary, multi-party republic form of government, which is a unitary state with a republican form of government, in which the political power is vested in and entrusted to the parliament with confidence by its electorate. The capital of South Korea is Seoul, and the population of the country is approximately 51.74 million people. South Korea is currently having an aging population and a low birth rate issue, meaning that the population is slowly decreasing. This issue ultimately affects the labor force and makes the female participation within the workforce critical to their economy. As of 2017, management positions are only held by 16% of women, which is only half of what the average is compared to most countries, where management positions are held by around 32% of women. The pay gap between men and women stood approximately at 32% in 2020. However, from 2001 to 2021, women's participation in the labor force increased by 7%. It went from 53% of women working to 60%. While the number is still relatively low, it's important that progress is continuously being made regarding women in the workforce. Still, there is a gender participation gap of 18%, meaning that South Korea is sitting at 3% higher in terms of this gap compared to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development countries, also known as OECD countries. Here I included a chart from OECD.org, which shows the female labor market participation from 1999 to 2019. The blue represents South Korea, whereas the orange represents the OECD countries. South Korea's female participation has risen by approximately 16%, while the OECD countries only rose by around 7%. There are a lot of issues found in South Korea's workforce. On average, women earn around 30% less than men, even though there is a higher than average female rate in education. In addition, many women had gotten work in sectors such as wholesale and retail, which do not pay as much and are not seen as more professional occupations in South Korea. Also, many women were practically forced to stay at home with their children instead of working due to difficult access to find childcare. COVID actually played an important role in this, as many places and job opportunities were shut down due to the pandemic. There was also a study which showed that the wage gap increasingly grows between a man and a woman the longer her maternity leave lasts. The Ministry of Education of the Republic of Korea created a trend graph which shows the higher education enrollment rate of South Korea from 2000 to 2018. The enrollment rate of Korean women in higher education has increased to the point where it was outpacing the men's enrollment rate. And then by 2020, the enrollment rate of women was at 71.3%, which is 5% higher than their male counterparts. However, despite a fairly good education sector, it does not sufficiently transfer to South Korea's economy due to the country having the highest wage gap among the OECD countries. There have been several laws created to combat gender inequality in South Korea. One of the most notable being the Equal Employment Law. This law eliminates discrimination against women in the labor market by providing childcare and maternity benefits to further close the wage gap. There is also the Women's Development Act, which was later named the Gender Equality Act. This act promotes equality between men and women in culture, politics, society, and the economy. The Special Act for Punishment of Domestic Violence and the Prevention of Violence Act both work to protect women in cases of domestic violence. Other laws created to help eliminate gender inequality include the Act of Equal Employment of Both Sexes and the Prohibition of and Remedies for Gender Discrimination Act. There are many solutions that can help improve the issue of gender inequality, upholding the fundamental rights of both genders being the most obvious yet most overlooked thing people can do. In addition, providing men and women equal opportunities in the workplace and in general would help a lot. It is also important to promote education, training, and professional development for women. Having representation in both public and private sectors would also help eliminate gender inequality. Having equal treatment in the workplace would provide women with more opportunities to grow professionally. And lastly, providing sufficient protection against domestic violence and abuse would make all genders feel all around more safe. Here is all of my citations. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy my presentation on gender inequality in South Korea. Thank you.